Hi, welcome to the Stupid CS Guy channel. I am Abhik and this is the first video in the channel. The idea of this channel is to help you prepare for system design interviews. Now, in this particular video, I have invited a member of the community to come for a mock interview session. The video is to show you what you should expect on an actual system design interview, how you should structure your interview, and what are the pitfalls that you should be aware of. In this video, we have treated the video like an interview. We are gonna dissect the video, see where my friend has done well, and see where my friends can improve. And the idea is seeing the interview and how we have analyzed the interview. It will help you with your system design preparation. Without much ado, let's jump into the interview question.
Okay, the recording is on. Awesome. So the problem statement is, John, that we will be building something like a Pinterest. Do you know what a
Okay.
Pinterest board is?
Yes, it is for creative people. They can add different like whatever they're interested in. Suppose I am interested in typography. So what I'll do is I'll have a lot of fonts, which I'll have collection of fonts and everything. Or say I'm interested in painting, and also I can have a board which will be revolving around painting and something similar.
Yeah, yeah. So what we will limit the content can be shared is simple links. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You can only share links in a board, and that board could be shared between multiple people, your friends.
Okay.
For now, we'll not do full public ones. So you'll have one board which is like private to you, and then you can have multiple boards with your friends. Boards will have a name, whatnot. Okay.
Okay.
So that's the overall problem statement.
Okay, so just to have the requirements, we are having public board and private board, right?
Yeah, public board is kind of like out of scope.
Okay, public board is not there.
Not there, not needed. Yeah, everybody has to log in, and it has to be explicit permissions.
Okay, means I have to share board,
Yes.
then only someone can
Yes.
see it.
Yeah. Yeah, you can remove public board.
Share board to be able to see it. Okay, now and what kind of, we are looking only for links. We can save
Yes.
only links. We are not looking for images or any custom things, right? As of now.
No. The user, all you need from the user is kind of links. That's it.
Only links. Do we have a hard limit on links? Like how many links a board can have?
There is no such limit. You can estimate, and we'll see what reasonable limits. I guess there's
Okay, no limits on. Let's just have no limits on links. We can have say 100 or max 100, 150 we can have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I really love how John approached this problem. He started listing down the topics, like he said, requirements. Then he have subtopics, and he had headings and whatnot. It's really nice. It's good to ask a lot of questions. This is the time you should utilize to make sure your understanding and the interviewer understanding is absolutely correct and exactly what the interviewer is expecting you to do.
Now these are the requirements. Anything else? Okay. So when we talk about there are two things, one functional and non-functional. So if I say the functional, let's start with the non-functional thing, which we will assume. Okay.
Yeah.
So in non-functional requirement, first thing, let's assume that we are like the login and account management is already taken care of. Can we assume that, or you want me to build that?
That's fair. Don't worry about login and auth.
Account management security is already taken care of. Account management security is already taken care of.
When you say account management, I'm not sure what you mean. We should just say the auth is taken care of. So you don't have to think about authentication.
Yeah, so that's what auth security, that is taken care of, like if you're using JWT or normal cookie based or header based, whatever we are using, those things are taken care of. Now let's see about okay, let's maybe revisit if we have to add another things. Now coming to the functional requirement. So in functional requirement, since we first thing we might have to talk about maybe us how we want to show it. Are we looking for a consistent view? Like suppose there, okay, we are not having any timeline or anything. It would be always same. So functional requirement, it will be add new board. Then you're having list all my boards, and also we will have say view of board via ID. So view a board via ID, we have to again check here like whether we are having a permission or not. Okay, so whether you get have a permission to view that board or not. Okay, that's there. Do we allow comments or anything else?
Let's keep it simple, no comments.
Okay, no comments. We are having in the view board, no comment. Do we allow to clone a board? Like, can I
No,
clone?
let's keep that simple also. No need of cloning and whatnot.
No cloning. Any like feature or anything as such? Nothing, right?
Nothing. Just very simple. And we can add
Simple.
all of those. We'll see.
Yeah, we will see on all those. No clone, nothing. Okay, I think then in the functional requirement, what else is there? What else you get? You see view. Do we have a timeline? Like suppose I shared a
Yeah,
particular.
you would need a timeline.
Okay, fine. So we are having timeline. So in timeline now, there are two things which we need to see. Are we looking at consistent timeline, or we can have a particular lag also in the timeline? Suppose you are having, say, I'm following 100 people, or not even following, like 100 people have shared something with me. So are we expecting that all the people I have shared, all the boards which are shared with me should be visible then and there, or are we looking at like we can have a bit of lag?
Bit of lag is fine. That depends on how much lag your system you expect.
So we are
You don't
going
want to
for,
expect 2 hours.
okay,
You don't
so we
want
are going
2 hours.
eventual consistency. Okay.
Yeah.
So whatever timeline we are having, eventually things will be consistent. We will look into that. Now in other timeline, what we are having? Say, yeah, I think in timeline, let's see if we missed anything later. Next, what we are having. Okay, now coming to the share feature. So in share feature, do we have like we share individually, or we can share to a group of group also? Like it
Just
is
share
always going
individually for now.
individually share everything, and
Yeah.
we are expecting we can remove also someone, right? Once we are
Yeah.
sharing.
Yeah.
Okay. Individually. I think I have covered the basic functional requirements. Do you think I have missed anything, or any other additional feature should be added here?
I think this is good.
Okay, cool. So this is the very basic high level. So now let's say let's start with the basic flow with the say how.
Yeah, just one more. So you'll also need one thing which is list all boards shared with me,
Okay.
right? Otherwise, you'll not be able to get the ID. So
List all boards shared with me. This would be sort based on shared time, right?
yeah, anything, it's fine. By who? Yeah.
Okay, fine. Let's this I think then shared list all boards shared with me.
So while I love the format of how John approached this problem, you could see that it's already 10 minutes into the interview and we are still in the requirement section. So the way I like to structure it is, instead of having a separate requirements and a functional requirements, the first requirements can itself be functional requirements. So that will help you not write the same thing again and again. Instead of functional requirements, what I generally love is write APIs instead. So you say another heading called APIs, and you say stuff like add new board, and then you say bracket open user ID, and then you bracket close, and what do you expect return. The idea is it peels off another layer of complexity and really make sure that you and your interviewer are on the same page. Like, what are the inputs to the system, what are the outputs to the system? If the input is user ID, the output is a list, and all of that will be very clear from your list of APIs that the system exposes. And I would highly recommend that.
Okay, cool. I think then we should be good here. Now coming to a very let's discuss about the scale at which we are implementing. Okay, so if you're talking about the scale, so how many users are we talking about here?
Let's do yeah, 500 million monthly active users.
500 million monthly active users we are having. Okay, so 500 million monthly active user if we are having, then we can okay, then let's assume that the, okay, when we are having 500 million, are we having it distributed across globe, or it is only for a particular country?
Oh, it's distributed across globe.
It is distributed across globe. Distributed across globe. Now let's talk about the uh, find okay, let's have a very back in the mind calculation for how many active users we are having daily. Okay, also one quick question. So when we are saying, let's assume that we are having say 20 million daily users. Okay,
Mhm.
now those 20 million users are going to be coming at any given point, like is it going to be equally split, or it can be that okay, morning time there would be too many users and then it can scale.
It's across the world, so somewhere it will always be morning. So you can assume that it's kind of equal.
Okay, so let's assume that equal load cross. So we will have equal load across the day. Now coming to the basic calculation. So let's assume that if we are having 500 million monthly active users, say we are having close to 30 million daily active users. Okay, so if you're having 30 million daily active users, and and since it is all spread across evenly, we can say that for every hour, or for sake of calculation, let's assume that maybe we are having 24 million daily active users. So if we are talking about every hour, we are having 1 million users per hour. Okay, so if you are having 1 million users per hour, now here not all of them would be creating, right? So let's assume creating a board is going to be 0.1 million users would be like creating, and rest say 0.9 million users would see the sharing. Okay. So that would mean that we are having a very read heavy schema. Are we like on the same page here?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So that means that we are having read heavy read heavy service. Okay. Now let's do a quick calculation in terms of like how many requests per minute we would be having. So let's assume that we are having 0.1 million users per hour. So we would have 0.1 million. And for creating every hour, these many boards, can we assume that these many boards would be created every hour?
That's fair. Yeah.
Or, okay, so we are having, that means that 100K new board per hour we are having. And for viewing request, we will have 9K view boards.
Do you care how many boards get created? Because aren't you only not only care, you should care only about links, right? Boards can have multiple links.
Yeah, boards can have multiple links. So if I'm creating one board and I'm adding three links there, then I'll share a particular board, right? So next time, if 100K boards are created, then additional links would be like, say, let's assume the number of links every board average we are having, say, 5 links. So there would be 500K links per hour which are being handled.
Okay. Okay.
So we are having say 900K view per. Again, let's break it down to a more granular level, maybe a RPM level. So 100K divided by 2060, that would be somewhere around 1 point. How much is that coming? So 1.6K boards are created per minute, and now every board, let's assume that every board is having board 5 links. Let's assume that every board there are 5 links. So that would mean that 1.6K into 5 links are saved per minute. Okay, so
Okay.
this is the number of links.
There can be duplicate links though, so that's something to look at, but that's fine. Let's go ahead with this.
Okay, fine. So in terms of view, it is going to be same. We will just see that how many. It is 15K per same way, it would be 15K into 6. That would be the number of links which we have to show. Okay. I think in terms of scale, we should be, uh, like in terms of scale, are we good here, or have I missed something?
It's fine. Let's
The
go ahead.
database estimation I haven't done, like how much space would be required. Do you want me to do the database estimation? How much space would be required to save all these things?
Ideally, yes.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll first have a very basic database schema so that we can have a better storage estimation.
In the scale or estimation section, there are really two numbers you need to come up with. One is your bandwidth requirements, which is like 100 KB per second or so on. Second is your storage requirements, like 5 petabytes, 10 petabytes, blah blah blah, whatever it is. Anything else that you do does not matter. It is very important that you arrive at these two numbers, and not something like 10 people will be accessing it per second. No, that's not needed. What you need is bandwidth requirements and storage requirements. Now here John, before finishing off the estimates, go into the database design to make his estimate super accurate. Now estimations are back of the envelope calculations. They do not need to be super accurate. I would rather use estimations and say that, you know what, each link would be like 2048 characters, so 2 KB, and I'll store some metadata. So let's just assume it's 10 KB, and go ahead with that, and not really optimize for each KB here and there. It's the interviewer is not really looking for it. What they need is just those two numbers.
Okay.
Okay, so let's start with the DB design. So if we are seeing a DB design, generally we would be, since we are having eventual consistency, we can go ahead with the, first let's do a entity modeling. So if we say about the first entity modeling, we are having board. So boards will have ID. So this would be the UUID. Next, we are having user ID, who created, rather than let's have a owner ID. Okay, so owner ID is also going to be UUID of the user. Okay, so this is the there. Now for every board, we will let the user to name the board. So let's say name. So name is going to be, we will allow say 200, not 200, like say 100 character name, and then every board we are having a description. So the description would be, let's give them a higher limit of 100 characters. Okay, now we are having a created at date time. Then we will have a updated at time. Then in terms of board, do you think I have missed anything in terms of board features?
I think this is good. Yeah, this looks good.
Okay, then we will quickly go to the.
You have to model the shared with part also, like, so that's.
Yes, shared with, I'll give a for like I'll create another entity. So
Okay.
this is boards. Now let's have the links. Okay, so now there can be we are, what we are going to do, we would be expecting that we are whenever someone adds a link, Pinterest, I expect that they don't crawl the data or crawl the metadata on the fly and do it. Even they would generally, whenever you are adding a link, they would be saving the metadata and then they would be showing. So what I would assume that they would have a particular link. So the link is going to have not ID. We will let's first take ID. UUID is there, and then original URL. Okay, so original URL is going to be a character of, say, again, the link can be long also, that there might be too many query params and all. Let's hope that it is 1000 characters. Okay. And then we will have a hash, so that we don't have to hash URL. Okay. So hash URL, we are going to have a we will see like MD5 or something. So this is going to be somewhere around I'm not I'm not sure about the length of MD5 hash. I think it would be somewhere around 50 characters. I'm just assuming it's 50 characters, whatever hash I'm using. Now here we will have metadata. Okay, so metadata, it can be a JSON. Okay, so we will say title, then so then we are having basically all the open graph mod, all the open graph details. No, open graph details, we will save it here. So whatever open graphs provides us, we will save all those things. And then also so let's assume that this might be this is going to be another JSON, because the open graph has a lot of parameters, how FB, Twitter and all those are being saved. Okay, in hash, then okay, I think we should be good in terms of the whole link thing. Do you think I have missed anything?
This
Okay.
looks good.
Now, okay. Now what we are going to do, we are going to have bold links. Okay. So when we say bold links, so in board links, what we will do is we will have a board ID. Okay. Board ID and link ID. Okay. So together, so link ID is again going to be the UID, and here board ID is there. This is pretty much our how whenever we append a new entry, we will have the board ID there and link ID. And a constraint which we have to put here is constraint, or we can say like unique together. If you are using SQL, if you are using NoSQL, then we will see how in the application layer or somewhere we'll handle this. So uniquely, a board ID and link together, they should be unique. Okay, unique. So together they should be always unique. This is the board. Now we are having the share. Okay, so now when we are saying that share, same, let's go with a very normalized way. We will see how we can denormalize it and later. So same, we will have board ID, and once we are having the board ID, we will have user ID. Okay, so all the whenever we share someone, we will get all the user IDs out here. Okay, and then we will have a created at.
So user ID is the person who is sharing or person who is shared with?
Who's shared with?
Shared with, okay.
Shared with user ID. I think we can keep it there. We don't need to save like who is sharing, because we are already having from the board like who's the owner. And we are we having the feature where someone you can share someone else's board also? No, I believe.
Like, yeah, let's not add that for now.
Yeah, if we had to add it, then we would have to keep like who is sharing also, that we can do. Okay, I think we should be good in terms of the basics. Okay, let's see.
Now, while I really love the thoroughness, we do have to be aware of the time. So it's good if you are able to write, IDs, a UID, description is 1000 characters and whatnot. Instead, what I prefer is just speaking through it. Like when you say ID and owner underscore ID, the interviewer knows that these would be a GUID. So just say that, hey, this will be, what GUIDs. You don't have to write it down just to save time. And description created and updated are fairly standard. The way I do is I just write metadata and I say that, there would be metadata like this. I'm not going into in the interest of time, and then just go forward. It's very important that you always look at time, because there's a lot you need to cover in 40 or 45 minutes.
All the features. So we are having functional add a new board. We will add an entry here. List all my boards from owner ID. You can get all the boards which you are having. View a board via ID. So via ID I can get all the details. Permission, we will always check whether that shared is there for a particular board which you're expecting. Then timeline we will see in terms of how we are going to save it across, and then share, add or remove, that's there. List also shared with user ID. I can do it this way. Yeah, I think I'm good in terms of database thing. You think I've missed anything or something? Yeah.
This looks good. Yeah, let's go ahead.
Okay, cool. So now let's go ahead with the estimation, how much space we might need. So a UUID is going to be, I think, 16 characters.
Let's in the interest of time, let's just not do estimation. Let's go to the actual design, because we have around 20 minutes left.
Okay, cool. This is the database design. Now, if I have, do you want me to start with the high level block diagrams, or?
Yeah, let's first talk about the database. What are you choosing? Are you choosing SQL, NoSQL? What are you choosing?
Since we are having a very high read thing, so whatever we would be doing, it is best that we choose a denormalized way, because read would be much faster there. Now we can use both SQL and NoSQL, depends upon how we are looking at in terms of scale. So if we have an estimation that how much data we are having and how we are going to shard the data and all, that time that would be then we will have a clear idea. But maybe I'll for now I'll go ahead with a NoSQL implementation, because we are having metadata and all these things. So that would make sense to go ahead with a NoSQL. So in terms of NoSQL, I can think of basically board is here. I think I can go ahead with a NoSQL like MongoDB, a document based, where all this would be saved. And but yeah, then the links is something which I have to think of if I am adding. So we are having a high limit of 100. Let's assume we are having a high limit of 100 links. Is it possible we can do that?
Fair. Let's 100 links seems you'd probably have 1,000 links or so. 100 links is something that people will probably exhaust. I would say 10,000 is much more, something that could be a limit.
Okay, if we are going ahead with 10,000, then our database like MongoDB has got a constraint that in one document you are having 16 MB maximum. So if you want to put all the metadata link, there might be possible that skewed. So that time we might hit a high limit. So that's definitely MongoDB is not the right option then. If you're looking at like embedding all the data, then there are two options. One, we go with a normalized way where we save only the link IDs, and then we would have to read it. But since our application is very much read heavy, we should not go ahead with a normalized approach. Then I think we can go ahead with a columnar data, something columnar database, and that way we can have a much better. So maybe we can start with DynamoDB. Let's see how we can design for DynamoDB, and if we are having a caveats. So okay, so DynamoDB, how we would be having, let's start with a very basic single table and figure out if we have to move to multiple tables or not.
Hmm.
Okay, so for DynamoDB, the boards, all the IDs are going to, so if you have a primary key, the primary key for DynamoDB, so partition by that would be the board ID. Okay.
Hmm. This is what it'll partition on, right?
Yes, it will partition on the board ID.
Hmm.
Let's see if we have to move a bit. First, discuss on that. Probably we might not have to do it.
Hmm.
So let's start with since there are too many IDs in my entity, I'll specifically tell this is board ID and what. Okay. So
Hmm.
board ID is the partition. This would be partitioned on. Then we are having owner ID. So owner ID, we can say that we can sort on owner ID. Okay, so that way,
Hmm.
how sort on owner ID. Or, okay, I think we might not. Maybe board ID is not the right option because
Hmm.
most of our queries are going to be show my board and all those things. So I think
Hmm.
owner ID would be a better candidate for the
A really good point is that John is using DynamoDB. DynamoDB is scalable, it is managed. So using it already shows some familiarity with large scale systems. So that's something folks should do. Try to use more cloud scale databases that are already hosted by cloud providers.
board ID, we can just sort on this, or we can have a secondary index or something. Let's come back to that a bit later.
Hmm.
So we are having board ID, then we are having name, uh, same, all the other fields, whatever we are having, name, description and all. Now coming to the links, how we are going to save the uh, add the links here. So okay, what now I can think of, maybe I'll have another table which will be link basis. Okay,
Hmm.
so this is the timeline, or say board table, and then you're having link. So in link, what we will do is we are going to have okay, so here we will have link ID list. So in link ID list, what I'll do is I'll have all the UUID list here, and here again, link ID, I'll save it as the link ID and metadata. So when this is there now, metadata is there. Is coming, board ID, board and link is coming. Okay, now we are having shared. Okay, so share this one. Okay, or shared also, then shared with. So now the whole flow is going to be, we are having a owner ID. So
Hmm.
our data is going to be partitioned in terms of the users who have created, and then every board has got the name, description, and links ID. So link ID is going to be a list of UUIDs, which is going to be
What are your
identified.
indexes here? Secondary indexes?
So my secondary index is going to be shared with. Okay,
Yeah.
so secondary index I'm having here shared with
Hmm.
link ID. I don't need to index here because once I figure out all the links, then I can quickly go here, and here it is going to be the primary index here. URL. Also, I will keep a secondary index on the hash so that if I'm adding one more link, then I can quickly see whether that hash whether that link is present or not.
Mm.
Uh, yeah. So this is the I think
Yeah,
this is a good database for DynamoDB I'll use.
I see. I see. Yeah, this is let's say if you want to say what are the boards shared with me,
Yeah.
you could do that, right? You can.
Yeah. Directly I'll go to shared with, and from there I can pick up all the boards which are shared with me.
And how do you figure what all the link? Okay, the link ID list is in there.
I'm
Okay.
just appending. So if I have to append or remove a link, that time I have to go to that particular entity to that row and figure out, okay, find that.
Is there any limit to how much the link ID list can grow?
Mm, when that's the thing. Like if you are having for a particular board 10,000.
If you really see, we spoke about each of these metadata twice. Instead of doing that, when you're doing a DB design, you can already do the data modeling as how it will appear in the DB. When John was doing the DB design, it was kind of, he was thinking in a NoSQL manner, and then he was trying to fit it into DynamoDB. I would rather say, in the interest of time, you can make this together, and you can say that, hey, this is how it will be represented in the database. These are the fields. It will just shorten the entire process. Also, it is fine to ask questions to the interviewer, saying that, hey, am I missing something? These are good questions. Sometimes the interviewer will guide you. Another thing is, do not assume familiarity with the databases that you are using. You could be using a MongoDB, or you could be using DynamoDB. The interviewer might not have used it. So it is your duty to make sure the interviewer clearly understands what is the database that you are using and why you are using. And there will be questions like, hey, is there a limit? And it's important that you know some of the internals to say that, hey, here's what is the limits of the system are. That will show that you know the database you are using.
I am not sure about DynamoDB link that
Hmm.
what is the maximum or particular row has got a limit,
Hmm.
but I believe since it's a columnar database, so we
Hmm.
might not have a hard limit to. Definitely there is a limit, but for
Hmm.
us, 10 until 10,000, it should help us.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Again, for this we can like. We can no, I think this should be good enough for us. Like yeah.
Okay. Um, cool. Then that's okay. Let's go to the system design part.
So basically we are having our, so this is our client, and majorly let's take a very brief view. So this is our server. Okay, so
Hmm.
all the in between we will have the load balancers and also any request which is coming to the client. So what all are the requests? So the request is new board. Then we might have another request which will say list all board, uh, share or update board. Plus we will have view board. Okay. So all these are the, I think, primary endpoints which we are going to have. So all of them are going to hit here. And now, okay, now talking in a high level, whenever you are having a new board, what it would do is it would go to this write server. So what
Hmm.
the write server is going to do is we are going to send a request with links. Uh, like it will have all the links plus
Now my friend John, he has this really fancy setup and he is using this Wacom board to do his system design. But you really don't need that. You could do with Google Whiteboard, or the one personally I like is draw.io, and you can just drag, drop, draw arrows and whatnot. It's actually pretty neat. Uh, and it's something that all interviewers would understand. You really don't need to buy anything fancy for system design.
Now, first thing what it will do is it will go to a different service, and in this service it will check. It will go and check for the link hash. Okay, whether we have already whether the link is already present or not. If it is present, then it will return the link ID. If the link is not present, then what it will do, it will send to another service here, uh, uh, which will crawl. It will crawl the data, it will send you back, and it will keep it in the save it in the database.
So this is going to be synchronous, the crawling?
The crawling is no, the crawling part has to be like we have to put it inside a queue, because there are some links, or like if this request has got say 100 links, then we don't want the client to wait for all the details. So what we will say is, okay, we have get write server.
Hello.
Okay. Yeah. So what we will do here is basically whenever the link details are being posted, we will keep a intermediate place. Okay. So we will have a intermediate space where we are going to just put the whole data here, like all the links and every metadata, whatever is required. And from there on, rather than write server hitting the check and all those things, this would be taken care of. So we will get a acknowledgement ID. So we will tell to the client, hey, your board is under process. Wait for maybe few seconds or something, and then we will create it. Is that acceptable, or do you want to tell the client that your board is
Why do you
ready?
need that? Why is that needed? You already have the link to create a board, right?
Yeah,
You
we
don't have
have
a
a link, but we don't have the metadata.
Metadata is something that you can always display later, right? Do you want to stop creating the board?
Now the interviewer will give you hints. Sometimes it will not be very explicit. It will be like, hey, can you see, is there something you can do here? Try and take those hints. It's safer to assume that interviewer has gone through the question multiple times. So if they are pointing you to something, you should pause and think about it really seriously and take that hint. That is one of the key aspects in an interview, that how the interviewer was able to influence your design and push you towards the right solution, how easily you can take feedback. Do not just dismissing that, hey, it cannot be done, it's not possible. Instead, listen to what the interviewer has to say.
No, then there is one issue also, right? Like suppose one of the links is invalid and we show the link there, then we might have to figure out the validation things and all. So
Yeah.
the client should handle the validation then, so, right?
Yeah, that can be done. Okay.
So if we are expecting that the client is taking care of all the validation, all the links are going to be valid, or maybe
Actually, you could do the small link validation in write server and crawl, because crawling will probably take time, right? You can always do
yeah,
the crawling later. Validation is just a get call, so it should be
correct.
fast.
Okay, okay, then what we will do is we will the write server is going to like keep it in memory rather than saving it to DynamoDB, because we want to save the correct link IDs and all. We can have a, okay, then we are
But wait, your
complicating.
link ID is not dependent on the metadata, right? So why do you want to store it in memory?
The hash would be dependent, right? We don't want to save like the metadata here. Now, suppose we are having a metadata, like two links are there. There is a link ID, google.com. Now, someone else also sends google.com. Then we will crawling both the data and saving
But
both the data.
your hash of the URL, right? Not, it is not a hash of the content. So you know google.com and you can compute the hash. So I'm trying to see if you can disassociate your metadata, like you from your original call, and you don't have to poll and whatnot. Because the next time when he comes back to the board, he sees metadata.
Actually, yeah, that can be done. What we will do is we will make an entry. Metadata would be, we won't have metadata there. Rather, we will save the original link and we will just compute the hash and see that whether hash entry is present or not. If not, then add that entry and take it forward. So another service will take care of crawling and saving the metadata there.
Okay, okay. So let's go back. We have 5 minutes. So in the interest of time, so can we focus on where are you storing this data? Are these getting stored in US? Which region? How many regions do you have? How is it done?
Okay, so what we will do is there are multiple things here. So we will have, whenever a client is coming, depending upon uh, depending upon which region the client is, we will have the request.
I want to make it clear that geo-replication is a tricky topic. It is not something that is expected of junior SD2 candidates. If you're targeting like a higher band of SD2 or somebody who is senior, that is kind of expected. It is tricky. So make sure you take the time to prepare in your system design prep. You think about where would you store data and what are the trade-offs. All systems have trade-offs. Make sure you talk about those and do not wait for the interviewer to ask him, hey, there seems something to be wrong. What's the wrong here? Instead, you say, here are the trade-offs of the system that you are designing.
Routed to them. So, and also all the images and all the when we are crawling those, I believe we would be having the images also saved at our end so that we can quickly show that. So we will use CDN to deliver all the static contents and
let's say something like, let's say I'm in US, okay,
okay.
and I create a board. Where does that
Okay.
Get stored?
That would be stored in US server only. We are assuming that you would be sharing data, sharing your users, like all the users with whom you're sharing are from US based. Now, if they're from India or somewhere else, then what we have to do is we can then the request, like then what will happen for every share we have to see like who that user is. Maybe the first time we can have a latency, we can keep a caching layer in between, which can take care of delivering data.
Okay.
Did I make sense?
What are the trade-offs that in this system that you are building? You said the caching layer, there would be one caching layer in each region.
So now the problem is we have to make sure that whenever a data is updated, again, you can update that code also, right? Now this caching, all this caching services have to talk among one another and have to make sure that the cache is invalidated or you update the cache. And also what we can use is something with LRU or something there, so that only the latest ones, latest boards which are being accessed are being cached.
Okay. Yeah, cool. We are right on time. We're at 12:30. We have like we spent 45 minutes. So that's the end of the interview. So I'm gonna stop the recording now. Okay.
That brings us to the end. I really liked how John structured his interview. He gave headings. He spoke about all of the requirements. He always asked questions to make sure that he got the requirement correct, and he kept on verifying that whatever he was designing was meeting the requirements. On the improvement side, I think the time was one of the things that he should have improved upon. There were a lot of redundancies, and one way is to merge all of those redundancies and make sure you are always looking at time and you're not writing the same things over and over again. On the system design side, it is important to take feedback. When an interviewer gives you, say that, hey, can you do this differently, or can you talk about trade-offs. Trade-offs are something which are really important, and it is who should be talking about trade-offs, and the interviewer should not have to ask you for it. Overall, I think the interview went decently well, and with quite a few areas of improvement. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. If you want to do a system design interview with me, please join my Telegram group. That is where I interact with the community. My links to my Telegram group and LinkedIn are below. So please follow me at LinkedIn, where I keep sharing articles, keep sharing interview slots whenever they're available. Thank you.